The meaning of church and the relevance of church has changed. People my age don't feel like they have to go to church. So the traditionalist understanding of, my parents go, so I have to go, has completely changed. People feel as if I don't feel like it, I won't do it. So how do we go from a culture of doing things out of obligation, out of wanting to go, just because I strictly desire to go? I haven't planted a church before, but my father's planted multiple churches, both stateside in the US and abroad and on multiple continents. So I think that it would kind of be crazy of me not to grab my dad and force him to give us a little advice when I get into work today.
Hello, I'm Lauren's dad. She asked me to share just a little bit about church planning and what does that encompass. And she kind of caught me off guard, and I said, that's cool. But I just wanted to share 4 thoughts that came to my mind because I've been in ministry now a little over 30 years. And as I thought about some of the church plants that we planted, the successful ones, the unsuccessful ones, and why they were unsuccessful. First one is the call. It's really important to recognize that you are called by God and you didn't just see it as something that you're doing as a community service or something that you just feel it's a good gesture to do. The second thing that I would say is you need is a conviction. That you have a conviction that no matter what the circumstances say, no matter what the situation may look like, that you're committed to making it happen. So the third thing that I would share is compassion. And I think it's really important to have compassion for the community that you are assigned to. So I link call, I link conviction and compassion all together, because if you don't have compassion for the community, and let me express, it's important to know what community you are called to. You can't be all things to all people. You've got to discern and understand what is the specific community that you're called to. Some people are called to inner city work, some people are called to rural work, some people are called to suburban work, some people are called to evangelism. You got to figure out, where do I fit in this mix, and what is God calling me to? What do I have a conviction for? And now I have compassion for the assignment that He gave me. Finally, and my last point would be change. You have to be willing to be adaptable and adjustable to the call, the conviction, and the compassion that God's given you. Let me share just a little bit when we talk about change, is changing generations. When I started in ministry, it was a totally different ball game. Things were a lot more religiously inclined. See that? The rules were in place and everybody knew what they were supposed to do. Today, this generation is not working under authoritarian rule. It's an information world. And my grandson here, he's not even 2 years old yet, but here he is scrolling on my phone, looking for information.
I will say, when thinking of planting a church, ask yourself, is it really necessary that I up and move everything that I have, the family that I have, go to another place and actually live there? Sometimes you can reach an audience strictly by using the technology that we have. We actually pull anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 people who view us live every Sunday. And sometimes with special events and even some other little things we have for New Year's Eve, we can reach up to 4,000 people just in one day. Live stream is something that has really transformed people's lives. I actually have a story about a year and a half ago. I was in Washington, D.C. for a friend of mine's wedding, and I got into the Uber. And I hear this voice, and I'm like, wait, this is my father's voice. And DC is about 3.5 hours away from the church that we have. And so I'm listening to my father's voice, and I ask her, hey, what are you listening to? And she goes into this story about how she got into this horrible accident, and she didn't think she was going to make it. And when she was in the hospital, she didn't have many visitors, if at all, for weeks on end. And she felt as if, her life was over, and she just went online and searched for a church that had some sort of live streaming capability. She told me that it saved her life. It saved her from feeling as if her life was over. It gave her hope. She grew alongside plenty of other online members, and she felt as if she was a part of a family. So, with that being said, when you're thinking of planting your church, sometimes it's not an actual physical building that you need to plant. Rather, take some of the technology that we have, like this camera I have in front of me, a microphone, go online, stream, and you can reach people you never thought you could have reached before.